Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our first NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 31 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. Do your banking at First NBC Bank. It's an interesting weekend for sports once more. And, of course, LSU baseball. Tigers coming off of a series loss, their first of the year, and they have another tough test, aren't they all, in the SEC. Perennial power Florida in town Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and obviously this is another big test for LSU, and they'll switch their rotation.
Yeah, they will. I'm not shocked by it to keep your guys in the same routine that they would normally be, putting Cody Glenn on the front end to throw the Thursday game, and then keep Aaron Nola, Ryan Eads in their usual Friday, Saturday positions. Keep this in mind. LSU does the same thing again next week at Texas A&M. They're going to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well. So that's not a bad thing. In fact, I think the last series of the year is also Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you're just kind of keeping people in the same spots, going forward. And it's you need to see what you got with Cody Glenn. He ended up getting scratched from the start on Tuesday night. They were going to use him when they made this switch.
And as far as Tulane is concerned, they finished up their season series with UNO. They got a narrow win. Those games were hotly contested, though, and it speaks well for UNO in the future.
It really does. These guys, a lot of these guys are from the New Orleans area. Obviously, it means a lot for them to be able to play Tulane. And, they were very competitive in all four games, winning one of the games. And that's what happens when you have rivalry situations. You throw the records out the window. Yeah, it's cliche, but it's true in these cases that these guys are going to play a little bit better in rivalry-type games, and that's what you got.
Speaking of baseball, the Zephyrs, of course, hosted Louis Coleman, Johnny Giavotella. You went out and interviewed those two guys, and obviously both of them, I would call them 4A guys because they've proven everything they possibly can at AAA. I'm not sure what else they can do. The question is, can they be regulars in the majors?
Well, it comes down to a chance, and it comes down to really an extended chance. What they've gotten right now amounts to probably a large cup of coffee, and you need more than that. I think any baseball player would tell you, give me, 300-400 at bats. Give me a chance to be in the starting rotation for 2 to 3 months, or in the bullpen for 2 to 3 months, and let me see what I can do then. And neither one of them has gotten that fully extended chance. They've just gotten it, the tease, if you will. And maybe it's in the Royals organization, maybe it's not. A lot of guys from this area would a chance to, maybe get to the big leagues, including those two.
And of course, the Zephyrs dodging the rain, dodging bullets like everybody with this weather.
Yeah, really. It's been frustrating for baseball teams. I tell you what, you guys talked about it on the broadcast of the Brother Martin East Ascension game on the first NBC Prep Showcase Tuesday night. Kudos to Joe Sherman and his crew at Delgado. What a job they did to get that field playable Tuesday night. Looks like Thursday they're going to be hosting a playoff game, weather permitting, with Hanville because St. Charles Parish got crushed. Games having to be moved all over the place. Teams who would normally have been at home ended up playing road games. Teams in Baton Rouge went to Lafayette to play home games. Lake Charles went to Sulphur. Whatever it takes, But a lot of cases on artificial turf. But Kirsch Rooney, good surface, good natural grass surface. The home of New Orleans baseball that shows how good it is once again.
Yeah, they answer phone calls when you call them and try to help you when they can. Speaking of Joe Sherman, Delgado and pairings announced, and they're in a good position trying to move forward in the postseason.
Yeah, a lot to talk about between now and next Sunday when it comes to that. But they are the number one seed, and there's advantages to that. One, if it's a situation where there's 3 teams with 1 loss, they get the bye into the finals as the number 1 seed. And 2, they get to play at home at Kirsch Rooney next weekend. So Meridian and Baton Rouge will be here for that Region 23 tournament. The winner will advance on to the district tournament. The equates to kind of like a super regional, if you will. So you got to win 2 tournaments in 2 weekends starting next week to get back to the Junior College World Series, and that's their goal.
Voodoo on the road Saturday night at Tampa Bay. Another new quarterback, their third starter of the year, and Bill Stellen. If you don't have consistency at that position, you got a problem.
Especially in that league. It's really big in the NFL. It's bigger in arena football because it really all revolves around how good your quarterback play is.
And last but not least with the Saints, their free agent class ranked pretty highly by some people in terms of the people they brought in.
Yeah, and it starts, I think, with Ryan Griffin, the former Tulane quarterback, who is a really good get. A lot of people thought he could be a 6th, 7th round draft pick. The Saints looked at him 3 times before the draft, and ultimately he decided to stay home when he had chances maybe to go elsewhere. And a lot of these guys that were evaluated as probably 4th or 5th round picks that slipped out of the draft that the Saints were able to get their hands on, these guys have done an unbelievable, almost uncanny job of identifying these undrafted free agents. The list is from Pierre Thomas to the former St. Chris Ivory on down the line. So many of these guys they've been able to find that have been great finds.
Check out the site, all kinds of good stuff, including how it looks like a split is imminent now based on what Ed Daniels reports of a couple of days ago and his op-ed on this site that I think you want to read, as many thousands of people already have checking the numbers. And, of course, stay tuned for our listings about our next playoff game that we'll do for the first NBC Prep Showcase. We should have an announcement on that shortly. Lenny, as always, a pleasure.
Always. See you this Monday.
Look forward to it. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. For First NBC Bank, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend and God bless.